CDC guidance and installation policy, if you have not been vaccinated, please wear a mask during the ceremony and for the rest of your day here at the Academy. We would also like to remind you that Michie Stadium is a non-smoking, non-vaping facility and to silence your cell phones during the ceremony. We thank you for your understanding and these important guidelines that will ensure everyone has a great experience at the United States Military Academy today. In just a few moments, the class of 2021 will march into the stadium from the east side of the field. The 1st and 2nd regiments will enter on the north side of the stadium, and the 3rd and 4th regiments will enter on the south side of the stadium. When today's ceremony is complete, please remain in your seat until the official party has departed the area. We appreciate your cooperation in this matter. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Michie Stadium here at West Point. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the United States Military Academy class of 2021.
Rest.
Ladies and gentlemen, today the West Point class of 1971 will present commemorative second lieutenant bars to members of the class of 2021 as they take their place in the long gray line. The class of 1971 has developed a special relationship with the class of 2021. Since June of 2016, members of the class of 1971 have engaged with and supported the class of 2021 every step of the way from our day to graduation. The cadet phase of bonding and mentorship between these two classes culminates today when the class of 1971 presents a set of second lieutenant bars engraved with 71-21. The representatives of the class of 1971 presenting the bars have distinguished records of service to the armed forces and the nation and are seated on either side of the dais, and I would like to introduce them to you now. On the south side of the dais, to your right, Mr. George H. Gilmore, Jr., a member of the class executive committee and a former West Point Association of Graduates board director. Also on your right, Lieutenant Colonel Michael G. Ritchie, U.S. Army retired, Senior Executive Service retired, and the 50-year affiliation program lead. On the north side of the dais, to your left, Lieutenant Colonel Thomas E. Mannell, Jr., U.S. Army Reserve retired and class president. And Colonel Johnny W. Brooks, U.S. Army retired, the class historian. Gentlemen, we welcome you back to attend this special graduation ceremony. It is a pleasure and honor to have you here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, how about one more round of applause for the class of 71 and their outstanding dedication to the class of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, and members of the class of 2021, just as the long gray line represents the connection of all graduates throughout the Academy's storied history, today's faculty processional recognizes the dedication and academic excellence of all United States Military Academy faculty, both past and present. Please welcome representatives of the faculty of the United States Military Academy. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the platform our distinguished guests. United States Senator and West Point class of 1971, the Honorable Jack Reed. United States Representative and West Point Board of Visitors Chairman, the Honorable Steve Womack. The Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Curtis A. Buzzard. The Dean of the Academic Board, Brigadier General Cindy R. Jebb. The Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Mr. Mike Buddy. The Director of the Character Integration Advisory Group, Dr. Jeff Peterson. The West Point Chief of Staff, Colonel Mark Weathers. United States Military Academy, Command Sergeant Major Michael J. Coffey. The United States Corps of Cadets, Command Sergeant Major Kenneth L. Killingsworth. Members of the Academic Board and other senior Academy leaders. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll give all the commands. You're only going to salute once. Sound attention.
Staff, attention.
Days.
Class, attention.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the entrance of the official party.
Present arms.
Days.
Staff, present arms.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Acting Secretary of the Army, the Honorable John E. Whitley. The 40th Chief of Staff of the Army, General James C. McConville. And the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams. and gentlemen, the 28th Secretary of Defense, the Honorable Lloyd J. Austin III.
Order, arms. Class, order, arms. On, cover.
Dais.
Staff.
On. Cover.
Cover.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the invocation by Chaplain Colonel Keith Good.
Lord help, it's here. To the class of 21, the Corps, and honored guests, I invite you to join with me as we ask a blessing on this day. Oh Lord, it is said that a journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. And looking back on the steps that have been made in this incredible 47-month journey, we cannot help but be thankful for the memories that have been made along that path. For that first step at our day in summer of 2017, Beast and Buckner, Soch runs and Ring Weekend, lifetime friendships made, COVID challenges met. Lord, we'll even be thankful for Yodel today. What a 1,000-mile journey it has been. But now, dear God, we see that that journey is almost complete. I ask that you bless these last steps across the finish line as each cadet crosses this stage, raises their right hand, and then steps out into the world to begin again. Lord, we ask this in your name. Amen.
Please be seated. Dais.
Staff.
Take
Read.
seats.
Cover. Take seats. Staff. Take seats.
Please welcome the 60th Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Lieutenant General Darrell A. Williams.
Secretary Austin, Senator Reed, Congressman Womack, Secretary Whitley, General McConville, distinguished guests, members of the staff and faculty, family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, and last but certainly not least, the 996 graduates of the outstanding class of 2021. Distinguished guests, if you will allow me, I would like to check the readiness of the class of 21, Mr. Secretary. So I hope you're stretching right now, class of 21. Go Army! Secretary, is that okay? Oh, way to go. Good morning and welcome to historic West Point in the United States Military Academy. Thank you all for being here as we celebrate the graduation of these outstanding young men and women and commission them as the newest leaders of character in the United States Army. First, I'd like to acknowledge Senator Jack Reed and his classmates here this morning from the professionally done class of 1971, the 50-year affiliate class for this graduating class. Gentlemen, on behalf of the USMA team and especially these incredible new leaders assembled before you, let me express my appreciation to your entire class for your support and mentorship over the past 4 years. We talk of the strength of the long gray line being its resilience and timelessness, a strength that comes from the unbreakable bonds that extend from the generations of West Point graduates who have come before us and extend into the future as we pass along their lessons and legacy to future classes. You have demonstrated that strength as you gripped hands with these graduates, and we are truly grateful to you all. And now something we waited a long time to hear, and I've waited a long time to say, a very special welcome to the friends and families of our graduates here today. How about a round of applause for all of our family and friends? We are so honored to have you here in person to cheer on your cadets. Thank you all for your patience and understanding over the past year, as well as for the love, support, and encouragement you've given them throughout their lives, and especially during their 4 years at West Point. Class of 2021, congratulations. Over the past couple of weeks, as I've been reflecting on your time here, but especially the past year, the challenges faced and successes earned, I realize just how appropriate your class motto truly is, until the battle is won. That phrase, 5 simple words, capture and exemplify so much. Grit, tenacity, toughness, overcoming challenge and adversity, a never quit attitude, and as our 40th Chief of Staff of the Army expects, a winning matters mindset. Your class has embodied those attributes and so many more over the past 4 years, but especially this past year as you led the Corps through the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. And the Corps weathered and overcame those challenges, not only because of the incredible work and support of the entire West Point team, but because of your leadership, your energy, and your collective grit, can-do attitude, and motivation. You led, you inspired, you continually demonstrated excellence. And today, you are stronger, more resilient, and better leaders as a result. And on behalf of the rest of the Corps and everyone here, thank you for that leadership. Today, as you graduate and take your place on that line, gripping hands with generations past and present, you become part of that legacy, leaders of character who answered their nation's call to serve, guided by the values of our Army and the ideals of this institution that have stood the test of time since its founding. Duty, honor, country. And now, as you assume the mantle of leadership in the United States Army, each of you will build and lead cohesive teams of trained, disciplined, fit soldiers. Your soldiers, teams built on trust, dignity, and respect, who are ready to fight and win. Put your people first, always, and take care of your people, as General McConville charged you last night. And above all, live honorably, lead honorably, and demonstrate excellence as you serve, protect, and defend the United States of America. Class of 2021, you are ready to lead. We congratulate you and we wish you all Godspeed. This morning's speaker is no stranger to West Point, a distinguished graduate of the class of 1975, Courage and Drive. His 41-year distinguished career as an Army officer includes command at all levels in combat. He commanded U.S. Forces Iraq, served as the 33rd Vice Chief of Staff of the Army, and concluded his career in uniform as commander of U.S. Central Command. He's an outstanding leader, one I've had the privilege to serve for and call a mentor. This past January, he was sworn in as our nation's 28th Secretary of Defense. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in a warm welcome for the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin.
Thank you so much, General Williams, and thank you for that warm introduction. You know, it's always tough to speak behind General Williams. He's such a great speaker. Every time I come back here, it feels like I'm coming home. By the way, General, what do you call this group of fine men and women that I see assembled on the field in front of us?
Call them warriors, Mr. Secretary.
Okay. Soup says he calls you warriors. I'm going to call you lieutenants. Is that okay with you? This is a big deal, guys. I want your Secretary of Defense to be the first to call you lieutenant. So, yeah, hold on. It is great to see Senator Reid and his classmates from the class of 1971, Congressman Womack, Acting Secretary Whitley, General McConville, and so many others of this supporters of this exceptional academy. And let me again thank General Williams and Sergeant Major Coffey and all of the faculty and staff here at West Point for all that you do and all that you have done to uphold the traditions of this extraordinary place, and for all that you have done for the newest officers in our United States Army. And that brings me to the class of 2021. You know, the next time that I see your Commander-in-Chief, and I see him often, I will report to him some very good news. And that good news is that reinforcements are on their way. Let me give a quick shout out to your first captain, Lieutenant Riley McGinnis. I am particularly proud that this year, senior cadets from West Point, the Air Force Academy, and the Naval Academy are all women. Lieutenants, I hope that you're feeling proud of yourself because we are certainly proud of you. You're graduating under exceptionally tough circumstances, but you fought through from our day to today. And you fought through to take your place in the long gray line, so congratulations. You know, this isn't just your day. It also belongs to the families and loved ones who have done so much to get you here. Amid the pandemic, when so many families have suffered aching losses, it's particularly powerful to have all of you here with us today. Your families have worried and sacrificed and told you to call your mother. They're not going to stop worrying about you now, but they're also not going to stop being proud of you. They've given their love and been your biggest cheerleaders, so let's take a second to turn that around. Everyone, let's give it up for your families. See some proud families up there waving, and you should be waving. You've done well. Lieutenants, it doesn't seem like that long ago that I was sitting where you're sitting. So I'm congratulating you not just as the Secretary of Defense, but also as a member of the class of 1975. You know, I think it's finally safe for me to admit that for much of high school, I never really considered West Point. Still, my family has a strong tradition of military service. My father served proudly in World War II as a truck driver in the Army Air Corps. And I can still remember seeing pictures of him in his uniform as a young corporal. And one of my uncles was the first African-American Green Beret that I ever saw. You know, he came home wearing that Green Beret. Yeah, he came home wearing that Green Beret and those jump boots, and I said, you know, I got to do that. I got to have some of that. So I grew up wanting to serve at some point. But I also grew up being Catholic and fascinated with the idea of going to Notre Dame and joining the Fighting Irish. And I wound up getting into Notre Dame on a scholarship, as well as being offered a place at West Point. So my father called me in one day and he said, let's talk our way through this. This is a pretty important decision. He said, listen, if you go to Notre Dame, even with that scholarship, it's still going to cost me some money. But if you go to West Point, it would be quite an honor. And not only will it not cost me money, but they'll also pay you every month. And you'll get an opportunity to do something that very few people in life get to do. You know, you can always go to graduate school at Notre Dame, but you only get one chance to go to West Point. So we talked some more, and then my dad asked me, he said, okay, so son, what do you want to do? I said, that's easy, Dad. I want to go to Notre Dame. And he said, okay, son, let's try this conversation again tomorrow. And I guess you can tell how that played out. You know, Dad's looking pretty smart about right now. Now, I'd never set foot on West Point when I started out here. I'd never been to the state of New York. In fact, the furthest that I'd ever been, north that I'd ever been, was North Georgia. I paid for my own flight to get here from Georgia, and it was the first airplane that I ever flew on. I landed in New York City in 1971. And let me tell you, it wasn't just different from my hometowns in Georgia and Alabama. It was another planet. And so the next day I got on a bus and I headed up here, and this academy on the Hudson looked like my second new planet in 2 days. It was unlike any place that I'd ever seen in my life. The grounds were perfectly groomed and they seemed to be filled with perfect people. You know, I still remember the rising seniors who gave us our first instructions. They were athletic and brilliant. They spoke flawlessly with no pauses or stumbles. I don't think they ever even blinked. There is no way that I can ever be that good. And like many of you, my goal was just to make it through the first day. and then to the next day, and then the next week and the next month. I sometimes wondered what good could possibly come out of all of this intensity. And I remembered being given just a few minutes to read the newspaper in the morning and then being prepared to discuss the items in the newspaper with the upperclassmen. And I thought, how does that matter? How can that possibly make me a better officer? And now, as Secretary of Defense, I find myself with a stack of intelligence assessments and international news clippings that I race through every morning, and as I do, I think of West Point and I chuckle. That's just one of the skills that I learned here, and it turned out, by the way, that the upperclassmen who gave us such a fine impression on that first day had actually been rehearsing for weeks. And that taught me a lifelong lesson in the importance of serious preparation. I learned that focus and discipline are really important. I learned the importance of mastering your trade. And above all, I learned the importance of becoming a team member. Lieutenants, on challenging deployments, you will have to work together with your teams to survive and to succeed. And this institution excels at instilling exactly that spirit. You've learned how to follow with loyalty. You've learned how to lead with honor. You've learned how to question with rigor. You know, looking out at all of you, I see the vanguard of a generation. I see patriotic, committed young people coming of age at a hinge in history, who grew up never knowing anything other than a nation at war. And so now you're about to graduate into a changing country and a changing world where many of the old ways of doing business don't hold up anymore. You're seeing raw divisions at home and the painful aftermath of the pandemic. You may also have heard some of America's competitors claim that the future belongs to a model that promises wealth as it stamps out freedom. You're watching as America's longest war winds down. And you're seeing technology change the character of war itself. And even as big and rising powers jostle and compete, you're seeing new threats, from pandemics to terrorism to cyber weapons. And you're seeing those threats race across borders like a gale. You know, I just might have a bit of insight into what you're facing. A democracy under strain, economic fallout, painful issues of racism and discrimination, social tensions, and the end of a long and controversial war. Well, that all sounds pretty familiar to those of us from the class of 1975. So let me assure you of something, and this is from very personal experience. No matter how strong the headwinds, West Point will keep you on course. It worked for my class, and it will work for yours. Some things change, but the skill set taught here is made to last because it teaches you to adapt. It teaches you to stick with it, as your class motto says, until the battle is won. Lieutenants, Lieutenants, you are ready. In this young century, adaptation is the name of the game. Leadership is the name of the game. And West Point has given you what you need to tackle any worthy challenge, to embrace any honorable mission. So yes, you are graduating in extraordinary circumstances. But let's be clear. Extraordinary circumstances are what the United States Army does. On the face of it, there may seem not to be much in common between the forces that George Washington led along the Hudson and between the units that I've led in the Middle East. But when we are at our best, we are true to our founding values. And we don't fight for a tribe or for a political leader or for conquest or for plunder. No, when we're at our best, we fight to defend our republic. We fight to defend our democratic ideals. We fight to defend human rights, human dignity, human liberty. Now, take it from someone who spent 41 years in an Army uniform. I've seen the problems. But just like the nation it defends, the United States military strives to be a more perfect version of itself. And I will take that over our competitors any day. You know, you serve a country that sees the use of force as a last resort. You serve a country that loves liberty. You serve a country that rejects bullying and aggression, and that seeks a world rooted in rules that favor the advance of freedom, that stands for democracy and decency at home or abroad. You serve a country that works hand in hand with our old allies and new partners, that cherishes the rich tapestry of the backgrounds of its citizens, that strives to grow and to mend and to reach the better angels of our nature. You serve a country that knows, as our president has said, that we are strongest when the power of our example matters more than the example of our power. So since becoming Secretary of Defense, I've worked hard with my team to put those principles into place. We're working urgently to help bring this global pandemic to an end. We focus on the security challenges presented by China. We're working hand in hand with our allies and partners to strengthen a rules-based international order that advances the cause of human freedom. And we are driving hard to ensure that we have the right capabilities and the right operational concepts and weaving them together in new and networked ways to produce a truly integrated 21st century vision of deterrence. And we're doing all of this while making sure that we take care of all of our people to grow and to develop the talent that we need for the future, and to ensure that everyone who serves can do so in an environment that's free of hate and harassment and discrimination. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is not just a matter of national principle. It is a matter of national security. And I learned all of this at this great institution, this great engine of leadership. And I kept learning from West Point long after I graduated. I lived through a lot between my last day here and my first day as a general officer. But there wasn't a day when I didn't draw on my years here at West Point. And your time here will serve you incredibly well over the decades to come as well. You know, most of all, I still I still depend on the values that I learned at West Point. I still believe that leadership demands character. I still believe in telling the truth. I still believe in treating people with dignity and respect. I still believe in serving your country, and I still believe in the tenets of our democracy and the words of our Constitution. Those values are the lasting legacy of West Point. They are the guideposts that will steer you right when you face the hardest decisions of your lives. And some of you second lieutenants will have to make life and death calls. Those values will see you through. Those values will guide you home. And you know what? You're prepared to make those decisions. You may not know it yet, but you are ready to be leaders. The values that we uphold are the values that will hold us up. And the Department of Defense is committed to doing everything in its power to support you when you serve and when you deploy and when you come back. And we're also here to help your families on the home front, because we know that when a soldier deploys, their loved ones are on the front lines too. Now, one word of advice. Hold on to your academy friends. They're a huge part of what you'll carry forward. My West Point buddies and I still remember going to New York City on the very few weekends that we could get off post. Back in those disco days of 1975, we were surrounded by bell bottoms and big hair and wide collars. And I can tell you up front, just for the record, that I never wore any of those. Obviously, just kidding. We still laugh about those times, but there was plenty that we didn't laugh about. We didn't laugh about the struggles of getting through Ranger School or Airborne School, or the strains on the home front of a life of serving your country. But through it all, we always knew that the friends that we'd made here were the kinds of people that you'd want to be in a foxhole with. And I can promise you that we're going to need your courage and your commitment in the future. You know, when I graduated, Vietnam ended, and my classmates and I went for a long time in which many of us weren't involved in any kind of a major conflict. But after September 2001, this country found itself in a continuous fight for almost 20 years. And I wound up commanding troops in combat at the 1-star, 2-star, 3-star, and 4-star levels. Now, America's goal is to always lead with diplomacy and to deter conflict whenever we can. But if we are forced to defend ourselves, we will win, and we will win decisively. Lieutenants, our job is to fight and win our nation's wars. And that means that nothing that you have learned here is solely academic. Because I can pretty much guarantee you that something that we're not anticipating is going to happen on your watch, because we live in an imperfect world. One in which patriotic young men and women still learn the ways of war and volunteer proudly to keep their fellow citizens safe. And we're grateful to all of you for standing up and standing tall. Now, we don't get to choose our times, but we do get to shape our times. And in our democracy, that isn't just a job for those at the top. It is the responsibility for every citizen. And it is a mission for every soldier in the United States Army. Lieutenants, your hour will come. And when it does, the eyes of the nation will turn again to the men and women of West Point in our entire military. In the course of the Republic and the depth of our security will be shaped again by you and by your teammates in the other services until the battle is won. Yeah. Those who came before you, we're so proud to see you sitting here today, and we believe in you, in each and every one of you. And we know that you will prevail, and we know that you will make us proud for democracy, for liberty, for the Constitution, and for duty, for honor, and for country. Thank you and congratulations again, class of 2021.
Yes, sir. Sir, on behalf of the class of 2021, we'd like you to present this gift as a token of our appreciation for speaking here today. Thank you so much for coming, sir.
Thank you and congratulations.
Thanks.
Please remain standing for the singing of the corps. This cherished West Point song is second in importance only to the alma mater. The corps was first sung at the graduation ceremony in 1911.
Class, attention!
Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, the Dean of the Academic Board, Brigadier General Cindy R. Jebb.
Class of 2021, your education has prepared you to be a leader of character sworn to uphold the values embodied in our Constitution. So on behalf of the Academic Board, I present these graduates and recommend each as worthy of the Bachelor of Science degree. The Secretary of Defense will present diplomas to those cadets awarded summa cum laude designation, class valedictorian, cadet first captain, class president, and the Army Athletic Association trophy winners. Will the members of the class of 2021 now come forward to receive your diplomas? Congratulations, we couldn't be more proud.
Riley M. McGinnis, First Captain and Brigade Commander. Katarina E. Christensen, Class President. Sydney A. Casalia, Army Athletic Association Trophy winner. Anthony L. Giacchine, Army Athletic Association Trophy winner. Jason M. Gittemeyer, valedictorian. Mark H. Jascott. Daniel J. Muncaster. Marie E. Dawkin. John P. Boyle. Tyler M. Shackleton. Jacob T. Bonneman. James L. Hunter. Logan S. Stansbury. Benjamin M. Siegel.
Congratulations.
Rachel C. Kinnison. Tyrese D. Bender.
Congratulations.
Nathan A. Batta.
Congratulations.
Christopher D. Pluck.
Congratulations.
Jeffrey A. Maiello.
Congratulations.
Nathan D. Alt.
Congratulations.
Kaylee Herring. Curtis R. Menor.
Congratulations.
Bryce R. Ott. Langdon R. Hunter G. Choi. Jordan N. Lawson.
Congratulations.
Kimberly K. Kakamo.
Congratulations.
Nathan L. Beck.
Congratulations.
Eric M. Parr. Ryan A. Murphy. Robert N. Blackwell.
Congratulations.
Jason M. Duple.
Congratulations.
Joseph N. Zuccarelli.
Congratulations.
Jack A. Burnison.
Congratulations.
Shay J. Buckner.
Congratulations.
John D. Swanson.
Congratulations.
Anne Marie Molinar.
Congratulations.
Dylan M. Moser.
Congratulations.
Matthias A. Scully.
Congratulations.
Benjamin A. Hoffman.
Congratulations.
Alexander N. Block.
Congratulations.
Bennett M. Hellman.
Congratulations.
Joseph D. Heinrichs.
Congratulations.
Nathan W. Chillian.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Andrew P. Bolus.
Congratulations.
Leighton R. McAlpin.
Congratulations.
Ryan T. Benz.
Congratulations.
John P. Owens.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Right there, Mr. Secretary.
First Regiment, Madison A. Berg.
3rd Regiment, Brittany R. Aiken.
Jonathan B. Billingsley.
Jabari Bordeaux.
Cameron J. Castillo.
Jace B. Estenson.
Stephen J. Cavoli, Jr.
Marvin A. Fluellen.
Kozmin Kazek from Romania.
Benjamin A. Foster.
Anthony G. Corey.
Evan M. Harris.
Elizabeth A. Craig.
Calvin C. Hart.
Evan P. Fitzgibbon.
Jason J.Y. Jung.
Thomas X. Fritsch, Jr.
Lauren A. Johnson.
Anand A. Ghosh.
Ju B. Mang from South Korea.
Lonnie C. Grayson II.
Alexandra K. Martin.
Audrey J. Hamilton.
Sarah G. Martin.
Cameron E. Hay.
Jonah D. Nelson.
Baker R. Howard.
Lucas R. Purdy.
Emma M. Lawson.
Cheyenne Quilter.
Phoebe A. Lee.
Marcus S. Redman.
Joseph P. McGill.
Samuel S. Redman.
Anthony C. Miller.
Duncan G. Russell.
Taylor B. Mulkins.
Matthew J. Simmons.
Catherine R. Murphy.
Stephen S. Somar.
Ryan L. O'Malley.
David J. Sontag.
Bennett L. Paulson.
Garrett T. Seitzma.
Samuel W. Proul.
Christian A. Takaki.
Robert E. Rapp.
Abriana M. Williams.
Peyton K. Reeder.
Gavin T. Bassett.
Brendan R. Ryan.
Savannah N. Bassett.
Brendan C. Siriani.
Jacqueline N. Bratton.
Jafar H. Stone.
Joshua J. Brock.
Shannon R. Villarino.
Alexander B. Karen.
Tate M. Blessinger.
Connor J. Serta.
Travis J. Katina.
Alexander M. Dang.
Ryan T. Ferris.
Parth J. Doshi.
Connor K. Fisher.
Daniel J. Echevesta.
Arjan S. Gotra.
James H. Flannery, Jr.
Thomas D. Ham.
Luigi A. Galzerano IV.
Paul R. Harrington.
Dante D. Harris.
Devin J. Hartzell.
Harry F. Hernberg.
Stephen T. Hoadley.
Grace Y. Coe.
Caitlin M. Coots.
Joseph W. Levesque.
Jake R. Lauer.
Ryan J. Lewis.
Jeremiah C. Lowry.
William J. Mitchell.
Benjamin S. McDougall.
Nathania Nuno.
Haley P. Middleton.
Idris J. Patterson.
Megan L. Muffet.
Grace A. Phillips.
Margaret M. Oriani.
Emma R. Record.
Elijah H. Parrott.
Timothy J. Rudolph.
Alec Perrietti.
Matthew W. Schwanevelt.
Matthew B. Rusiniak.
Kevin Shema.
Clayton D. Shivers.
John P. Sweeney.
Kaylee L. Smith.
Jeffrey L. Vollenweider Jr.
Radford B. Swent.
Gabrielle A. White.
Judson S. Ondenov.
Marcelino O. Allen George.
Jacob R. Bueno.
Daniel V. Alvarado.
Barbara G. Bunting.
Kativan T. Anthony.
Matthew R. Carey.
Hunter R. Arnold.
Luke D. Carpenter.
Annabelle C. Benoit.
Justin Diopol.
Jacob A. Bosley.
Zachary E. Ellis.
Robert E. Elkins.
Jonah G. Hodge.
Michael S. Flanagan.
Colin M. Hurley.
Tyler L. Flegel.
Anastasia Joyner.
Nathan A. Hagg.
Kevin J. King.
Charles S. Harrington.
Kelton J. Coford.
Joshua E. Hyman.
Christopher C. Kubitz.
Sebastian Hung.
Mia R. Mazakowski.
Kelly S. Kim.
Broderick J. Moore.
Catherine A. Kochever.
Alexander D. Morales.
Julian L. Levesque.
Adugo L. Ogwegiofor.
Bridget J. Mayfield.
Patrick W. Osler.
Samantha B. Poncell.
Benjamin A. Radcliffe.
Andrew J. Posh.
Esther J. Roman.
Jennifer P. Dos Reis.
Frank A. Rose Jr.
Joseph D. Simmons.
Andrew R. Salias.
Hannah L. Slumkowski.
Dejatone Suwanakiri from Thailand.
William K. Southworth.
Claire Miyi Yani Nai.
Sabin N. Strode.
Jacob A. Canty.
J.C. Talaferro.
Hunter M. Dempster.
Alexander P. Yanez.
Danelle A. Diego.
Joshua L. Zach.
Callie K. Evans.
Raheem B. Baxter.
Nicholas A. Finke.
Peg D. Bush.
Juliana P. Galvan.
Talia J. Corello.
Robert C. Heald.
Morgan C. Tuning Kulik.
Hallie L. Hembry,
Joseph D. Cotton,
Michael E. Howard,
Diana J. Donay,
Dennis P. Kirby, Jr.,
Monica A. Eckford,
Jeff B. Kirk,
Isabel E. Embola,
Jax R. Lazinski,
Jack M. Greer,
David McLemore,
Mason W. Horseman,
Ryan J. Moore,
William K. Luker,
William F. Navin,
Colin M. Lynch,
Isaac M. Nawa,
Lauren K. McNevin,
Ethan T. Nguyen,
Parker C. Minotti,
Thomas K. Parsons,
Jared E. Marcus,
Evan F. Peterson,
Timothy Y. Park,
Jessica M. Reimkin,
George A. Plattinga,
Courtney A. Rosa,
Colton W. Porter,
Cole D. Smith,
Gavin M. Poulin,
Eston T. Smith,
Quentin R. Reese,
Jeffrey H. Tanto, Jr.,
Landon P. Salyers,
Ian J. Thomas,
Max A. Sheps,
Joshua I. Thomas,
Christopher J. Skyers,
Angeline M. Trichler,
Dean Q. Smith,
Grant R. Williams,
Benjamin G. Stevens,
Jake Yoon,
Samuel P. Terry,
Eric J. Aronson,
Jasmine M. Bagsby,
Noah P. Bambert,
Robert W. Barrett,
Michaela E. Virgin,
Matthew J. Berkvitz,
Carrie S. Boyd,
Shanika A. Bernard,
Jackson O. Brownfield,
Thomas J. Bordeaux Jr.,
Andrew G. Bullen,
Colin R. Combs,
Nitai K. Chun,
Chloe G. Dietz,
Nicholas J. Corkery,
James W. Downey,
Peter G. Echevarria,
Gabrielle S. Furman,
Ashazalan D. Ferromani,
Adrian Garlant,
Bo T. Guffey,
Adam B. Hoxing,
Kelsey M. Healy,
Aaron J. Jones,
Edric L. Hudson,
Zachariah D. King,
Alexander H. King,
Nathaniel D. Lambert,
Trajan F. Marchese,
Matthew J. McGovern,
Daniel S. McGew,
Sky P. Merriam,
Aaron S. Mullally,
Elizabeth J. Murphy,
Grayson M. Olip,
Anne Marie Narvise,
John Y. Pack,
Peyton J. Pisacani,
Dylan C. Reynolds,
Wes W. Polis,
Sarah G. Scales,
Bonifacio L. Kimbao III,
Carly M. Scott,
Adam D. Redfield,
Jacob M. Spangler,
Colin M. Reichman,
Tristan P. Stewart,
John P. Robertson,
Sophia G. Andel,
Tucker S. Cipolla,
Mika K. Andrews,
Ryan P. Thistlewood,
Justin E. Baker,
Thomas H. Upton,
Alana M. Chandler,
Andrew C. Waldrep,
Morgan R. Corliss,
Noah R. Wallace,
Susanna N. Del Rio,
Lexi M. West,
Andrew C. Efaw II,
Vincent H. Wilkinson,
Nicholas D. Epperson,
Martino On.
Samuel P. Hilferty.
Emily Ann R. Baker.
Joseph P. Kemp.
Raymond P. Bartoli.
Samuel L. Kicklighter.
Joel M. Bottarini.
Elizabeth R. Lane.
Elijah R. Brown.
Michael C. Liesel.
Lauren Clark.
Kyle A. Lipton.
Tyler W. Cooper.
Matthew S. Marino.
Jacob R. Dotson.
Mike Andra L. McPherson.
Jennifer J. Gervais.
Caleb S. Moreno.
Adam B. Gorsh.
Brian J. Patterson.
Ian C. Herring.
Joseph Ree.
Kedron D. Jefferson Jr.
Shane E. Rylett II.
Olivia V. Johnson.
Hunter B. Scott.
Mary E. Kamen.
Grayson R. Seidel.
Tyler M. Kim.
Tyler A. Skidmore.
Taylor D. Livingston.
William T. Smith Jr.
Grant A. Lofton.
Lucas E. Strickler.
Lucas J. Mannion.
Jackson H. Thompson.
Nathaniel J. McConvey.
Gianpaolo F. Torre.
Sandon D. McCoy.
Emmanuel N. Ahua.
Caroline E. Mitchell.
Brandon D. Akushevsky.
William J. Nevels.
Brandy N. Braggs.
Prakash D. Nigam.
Anthony M. Castillo.
Brian E. Probert.
John L. Everling.
Daniel R. Rush.
Sean O. Fitzsimons.
Matthew E. Russell.
Oz J. Gold.
Nathan J. Schubring.
Christopher R. Aber.
Eric T. Vick.
Tyler J. Herber.
Simone C. Woolley.
Hannah G. Hurst.
Tyler J. Aucoin.
Catherine E. Laufer.
Ryan M. Barrios.
Shamir J. Lewis.
Cameron E. Brinson.
Chenlien Lee from Taiwan.
Alexander.
Drew E. Latinsky.
Kyle B. Coker.
Mark K. Madden.
Perry J. Fulton.
Kendall T. McFarland.
John F. Howe.
Michael K. Moore.
Noah D. Kagan.
Eric J. Morale.
Charles J. Larson.
Holt T. Parrish.
Ryan D. Leach.
Griffin O. Perry.
Adrian B. Ledesma.
Sarah C. Richardson.
Cameron S. Manor.
Ryan S. Roop.
Andrew J. Marsh.
Benjamin T. Roth.
Mason P. Michaels.
Jacob N. Scriffany.
Andrew T. Mizell.
Christopher E. Sharfin.
Shreyans R. Muno.
Luke C. Stanley.
Kathleen V. Newman.
Lexus M. Van Hoven.
Lixreen E. Gemma from Cameroon.
Jack B. Whalen.
Anna K. Ogilvy.
Ryan C. Witter.
Mia C. Payton.
Ryer M. Barnes.
Kiernan J. Reagan.
Emma K. Begin.
David R. Rowe.
Alexander C. Contreras.
Justin R. Robinson.
Bryce P. Corcoran.
John P. Roeder Jr.
Jalen Davis.
Jeremy A. Spencer.
Jacob A. Erickson.
Kenyai A. Wilson.
William C. Fleckenstein.
Terrence J. Allen.
Kainalu G. Gandia,
Catherine E. Baumeister,
Sean A. Hallman,
Kyle W. Byer,
Alexander R. Heldstab,
Hannah K. Bubel,
Bascom A. Hollingsworth,
Tully J. Boylan,
Peter H. Howell,
Jedediah M. Dewey,
Philip J. Kamler,
Grace A. Echeverria,
Colin J. Keogh,
Elizabetta Fursova,
Xavier A. Lampkin,
Benjamin E. Granger,
Paul M. Lawless Jr.,
Colin M. Kim,
Connor R. McQueen,
Kevin M. Kurth,
Andrew D. Perringer,
Courtney R. Loomis,
Samantha M. Rankin,
George C. Moore IV,
William H. Schumacher,
Justin A. Ortiz,
Andrew B. Scott,
Nathaniel E. Peak,
Taylor B. Stringer,
Felix J. Perilou Jr.,
Jared I. Stewart,
Addison P. Ritchie,
Sophia R. Tarpey,
Jacob W. Samet,
Juan Kamal Fitri, Juan Kamal Bahrain from Malaysia,
Clark J. Scalia,
Ashby D. West,
Elise M. Schnur,
Jackson T. Arndt,
Justin A. Sells,
Joseph P. Girardi,
Julia E. Stedman,
Tally A. Griffith,
William T. Weber,
Emerson O. Grimes,
Parker J. Woodworth,
Haley E. Hodson,
Heather J. Yoshi,
Christopher A. Johnson,
Christopher J. Basso,
Tae-Young Kim,
Christopher J. Berger,
Gunnar B. Larson,
Jesus M. Carrillo III,
Anna K. Lohr,
Justin D. Charette,
Brianna E. Love,
Tyler T. Collard,
Dalton C. Mashburn,
Travis D. Greer,
Henry C. Perry III,
Yoon Taek Won,
Michaela L. Ramnoff,
Jarrett G. Justice,
Leandra E. Ramos,
Alexander H. Lee,
Mason H. Remendelli,
Zachary B. Lindsay,
John P. Radigan,
John C. Madden,
Thomas E. Rudy,
Lucas R. McCleary,
Sean Paul Stolarski,
Adam C. McGillicuddy,
Jennifer G. Thomas,
Mitchell J. McHugh,
David C. Weaver, Jr.,
Joseph S. Minus,
Hunter C. Whipple,
Joshua R. Mostert,
Alexander M. Yang,
Patrick J. Schlim,
Joseph E. Zirkle,
Sadat Muhammad Sherier Chauvin from Bangladesh,
2nd Regiment, Zachary S. Andenberg,
Brendan M. Shutt,
Alejandro S. Antanasov Calleja,
Alexis J. Smalls,
Roberto M. Atkinson,
Corbin T. Smith,
Gabriel Barreto Diaz,
Robert H. Still III,
Peter R. Ferguson,
John G. Todros,
Ian A. Fujinaka,
Michaela A. Thompson,
Ara L. Gehan,
Conrada C. Trejo,
Olivia R. Jervin,
Christian J. Whitkop.
Sophia B. Hine.
4th Regiment, Katalin Apostol from Moldova.
Rivers A. Hinson.
Ashley M. Burr.
Jared C. Hudspeth.
Zachary J. Bunn.
Christine M. Kafka.
Abigail N. Burris.
Haley B. Cosma.
Zachary R. Calderon.
Antonio O. Latore.
Theodore R. Dockenhausen.
Casey B. Loesch.
John D. Davies.
Laura N. Maniet.
Stephen C. Dewar II.
Luca C. Mazzanti.
Philip G. Federico.
Bryce A. Samuel.
Benjamin M. Ferguson.
Adam M. Sasek.
Trevor C. Halleck.
Monica Seaman.
Raven O. Hudspeth.
Lawrence A. Shepard, Jr.
Billy Z. Laird.
Jedediah D. Smith, Jr.
Shun Jin Lim.
Jonah M. Staten.
Miles J. Mazik.
Petar Toshev from Bulgaria.
Matthew J. Moffett.
Benjamin T. Abbott.
Stephanie N. Miles.
Anthony P. Albarisi.
Nicholas J. Sartain.
Ronasia J. Ball.
Monica J. Shimko.
Tucker D. Blackwell.
Connor J. Smith.
John Z. Bobus.
Tyler K. St. Clair.
Taylor A. Bradley.
Stone K. C. Stevens.
Kevin C. Brooks.
Stephen M. Strange.
Jonathan S. Crawford.
Marcus L. Wright.
John H. Serwinski.
Thomas A. Alverman.
Chloe S. DeWeese.
Morgan J. Ammons.
Zachary D. Hazard.
Michael J. Brulette.
Chloe J. Hedrick.
Gregory R. Coleman.
McAllister J. Herrick.
Ryan P. Companion.
Alexander P. Least.
Patrick J. Duffy.
Andrew E. Mackey.
Christian P. Gray.
Scott E. Moore, Jr.
Benjamin J. Hallinan.
Alexander Mui.
Clayton G. Hansen.
Kyle J. O'Connor.
Kalia D. Jones.
Jessica D. Rawls.
Christian M. Kinnan.
Hunter A. Ray.
Denton W. Knight.
Fisher A. Rector.
Emily K. Landeryu.
James L. Saylor, Jr.
Jordan T. Lane.
Noah J. Sinyongwe.
Elias A. Manning.
Robert B. Smith.
Caitlin M. McLaughlin.
Jake E. Torrens.
Christine J. Panlasigi.
Whitney A. Willie.
Calvin D. Piper.
Matthew J. Blavis.
Joseph C. Bryce.
Gregory W. Brownwell, Jr.
Matthew L. Sanders.
Adam S. Campbell.
Evan T. Shoemaker.
Dalton A. Carter.
Kara L. Shatton.
Trevor H. Coleman.
Jason Wang.
John W. Conroy.
Walter J. Wecker.
Andrew R. Constable.
Deman L. Wilson.
Ann W. Dunlap.
John L. Zimmerman.
Bartlomi J. Grzybowski from Poland.
John A. Bass.
Austin W. Henson.
Garrett K. Burnett.
Daniel A. Hernandez.
Matthew T. Carapolo.
Emily S. Hong.
Whitney Chang.
Gabriella A. Huggins.
Samuel R. Chase.
Bo T. Hewley.
Theodore A. Cook.
Karen Kim.
Joran T. Dawson.
Charlotte E. Kuhn.
Christopher J. Dean.
Isabel G. Malinowski.
Jack J. Eason.
Marcus A. McNeil.
Ivan A. Figueroa Checo.
Lane A. Peters.
Jacqueline L. Fitzgerald.
Hannah M. Presley.
Alexander H. Fortier.
Andrew W. Quantz.
Bonvi C. Fosan.
Randall P. Ross.
Louis C. Fuca.
Maggie C. Shy.
Nicholas J. Garofano.
Timothy J. Simos.
Caroline J. Horn.
Christopher M. Slozer.
Hudson A. K.
Felix R. Tavino.
Nathaniel T. Wynn.
Taylor C. Vessel.
James M. O'Brien.
Antonio B. Vieira.
Nikhil V. Patel.
William C. Bagley.
Jade A. Robinson.
Christopher W. Bang.
Bonnie L. Romeo.
Jonathan Scott W. Davidson.
Joshua S. Samasco.
Kevin D. Deneen.
Theo D. Wages IV.
Stephanie M. Dudgeon.
Joseph S. Waldron.
Knox C. Fuller.
Caleb L. Washington.
Anthony C. Gennaro III.
Joshua A. Barbella.
Madeline H. Gist.
Congratulations, ma'am.
Adriana M. Biederman.
Ryan W. Johnson.
Antonella C. Blanco.
Emily J. Johnsrud.
Jayla D. Clayton.
Jonathan C. Jones.
Sydney O. Dawson.
Amanda G. McCauley.
Nicholas J. Desimone.
Corey M. McCooley.
Shane T. Ferry.
Kevin M. Moore.
Foster A. Frame.
Senish Muniandi from Malaysia.
Colin T. Hahn II.
Benjamin L. Parrish.
Stephen T. Krejci.
Matthew J. Paulton.
Joe Lee.
George A. Pavlakis.
Song Wen Liao.
Steve Perkins Jr.
William S. Lucy.
William C. Piquel.
Margaret C. Lynch.
Matthew J. Rivera.
Matthew T. Martin.
Charlotte L. Spencer.
Justice R. McHenrick.
Nicholas S. Stokes.
Anna K. Orlando.
Madison J. Tague.
Dane E. Rickardson.
Donovan J. Velez.
Matthew M. Sauter.
George R. Walter.
Bailey C. Sheave.
Jacob R. Warren.
Luke A. Schneider.
Kaylin Y. Young.
Orlando Sullivan.
Anthony C. Ashford Jr.
Dylan J. Voppel.
James D. Bilbrey III. Lauren A. Brandenburg.
Max B. Weissman.
Noah L. Breslaw.
Andrew Q. Whittle.
Benjamin J. Fernquist.
William M. Black.
Nicholas J. Gazarian.
Charles F. Cattell.
Spencer T. Glazer.
Young Ho Cha.
Margaret G. Go.
Ramel A. Cook.
Marta R. Grivens.
Charles A. Debchak.
Charles P. Hogaboom V.
Cameron A. Dell.
Mason J. Kruger.
Justin D. Dokken.
Nicole L. Moss.
Taylor R. Drayton.
Francis E. McConnell III.
Austin C. Fox.
Samuel A. McGee.
Bethany J. Hoffman.
Spencer S. Moore.
Griffin M. Hokinson.
Brody F. Monagle.
Anna C. Gerald.
Brianna B. Murrin.
Bethany L. Johnson.
Maxwell L. Myers.
Zachary A. Kimball.
Dean S. Genda Curio.
James B. Marshall.
Isabel A. Olds.
Daniel M. Mazai.
Nathaniel J. Olsowski.
Gareth J. Morgan.
Daniel P. Pryor.
Joshua M. Musial.
Fernando M. Sullivan.
Joshua S. Park.
Garrett T. Venable.
Lonnie R. Perkuchin.
Kevin J. Yanishik.
Nathaniel Rodriguez.
Sydney L. Alexiev.
Anton S. Rowe II.
Cassidy M. Braggs.
Patrick I. Shea.
Dawson P. Bromlow.
Benjamin J. Snyder.
Gregory S. Coffey.
Jate C. Stats.
Alex L. Crawford.
Tiasia T. Stewart.
Robert T. DeYoung.
Sophia M. Surrey.
Alexander J. Field.
Justin M. Thomas Jr.
Marcel J. Gallard.
Keith R. Boggs.
Danielle M. Horoho.
Jane M. Bryce.
Aaron M. Johns.
Eleanor C. Burnett.
Brian B. Kim.
Janelle E. Copeland.
Cameron J. Kinder.
Joseph T. Kottner.
Jonathan R. Liu.
Gregory S. Drake.
Nico A. Manzanelli.
Anujan Gangquink from Mongolia.
Sekou H. Mateso.
Michael J. Gerber.
Brett T. Mazer.
Ryan S. Hall.
Caleb R. McKee.
Cameron S. Hudson.
Bryce A. Milton.
Hunter A. Kanibi.
Shane T. Murphy.
Gabriel C. Lajeunesse II.
Darian M. Norman II.
Alexander H. Lawrence.
Michael E. O'Donnell.
Elizabeth Lee.
Ivan V. Peters.
Reed T. Marshall.
Cameron L. Payton.
Dalen J. McGee. Dalen J. McGee.
Cassie R. Reed.
Elias W. Mitchell.
Douglas T. Rogers.
Harrison M. Mixon.
Elena J. Rose.
Andre J. Rosu.
Allison N. Snelling.
Brian P. Rudolph.
Graham P. Ungrady.
Taylor H. Staten.
Abigail H. Waldman.
Zachary W. Witten.
Jared W. Warren.
Kevin F. Brazy.
Thomas R. Aldheiser.
Taylor M. Brown.
Antonio R. Avellaneda Ruiz.
William B. Caldwell V.
Mia E. Bean.
Brooke A. Carnahan.
Olivia G. Bennett.
Scott A. Collins from Liberia.
John M. Blodgett.
Robert J. Demise.
Connor A. Bogner.
Nicholas J. Dajinski.
Jeremy A. Bone.
Brendan M. Fee.
Jesse E. Campanella.
Austin M. Furbit.
Nicholas J. Edinger.
Jacob J. Hare.
Kevin S. Gardino.
Carolyn C. Homer.
Luke E. F. Haig.
Chandon L. Hutchison.
Artis L. Hobbs IV.
Matthew D. Jordan.
Dowda Cawley.
Chase M. Lewis.
Keegan A. Leth.
James B. Nichols.
Leslie R. Lewis.
Stavros P. Papas.
Chamberlain A. Liddell Pataxil.
Mihir M. Patel.
Colin J. Limp.
Margaret M. Peterson.
Edison K. Lee.
Sydney J. Sandberg.
George C. Madden.
Jonathan D. Shear.
Sophia R. Maliski.
Erica D. Semp.
Christian D. Mardaga.
Cassidy E. Schroep.
James P. McKee.
Richard J. Sung.
Julianne D. Meany.
Andrew B. Sweat.
Ivan R. Pearson.
Braylon D. Williams.
Trevor D. Powers.
Benjamin H. Wilt.
Max D. Sachina.
Laura S. Yamamoto.
Miriam E. Smith.
Connor A. Yaus.
Morgan K. Walsh.
Hunter T. Beauchamp.
June Sun Yu.
Stephen C. Barrios.
Matthew B. Anderson.
Jordan J. Blackman.
Grace C. Blomberg.
Annie M. Brock.
John W. Boyer.
Jordan M. Burt.
Jonathan E. Carbonella.
Nicole V. Chick.
Brandon Sia.
Rachel M. Eby.
Jonathan E. Dow.
Christian J. Falk.
Luke A. Ensing.
Cade H. Fleer.
Joshua D. Faust.
Joshua J. Frazier.
Weston W. Graves.
Seamus R. Fromhartz.
Manley X. James Jr.
Orion C. Holland.
Bruce W. Nill.
Jamie H. Huang.
Jacob M. Lohman.
Justin G. Koo.
Howard K. Mahoney II.
Dylan S. Leach.
Aaron E. McCarthy.
Shane R. McCardle.
Nicholas M. McDonald.
McKay A. Phillips.
Brian C. McHenry.
Jeffrey S. Price.
Callista C. Shower.
Elise J. Rawls.
August M. St. Louis.
Riley T. Rorick,
John E. Taylor, Jr.,
Paul E. Roberts,
Evan C. Walker,
Daniel L. Ross,
Andrew J. Yerkes,
Colin J. Shreves,
Jerry B. Baston,
Colin M. Smith,
Michael O. Burke,
Anthony T. Vo,
Joshua N. Burns,
Eric S. Whiteman,
John T. Darden, Jr.,
David P. Witt,
Garrett J. Dolan,
Nicholas J. Baldwin,
Sarah L. Donaldson,
Omar Rashan T. Borja,
Joseph R. Drennan,
Gurjivan S. Chahal,
Aubrey L. Evans,
Jacqueline M. Chronister,
Coleman T. Everett,
Zoe L. Cantoganis,
Sarah R. Hartel,
Dominic M. Distofano,
Samuel J. Haseman,
Scott T. Denellian,
Matthew J. Horn,
Branton B. Fletcher,
James B. Hunter IV,
Matthew B. Flynn,
Alexandra V. Inchauste,
Jonathan D. Green Jr.,
Joseph King V,
David J. Hazelton Jr.,
Trevin P. Kozlowski,
Ryan T. Hetrick,
Patrick G. Lang,
Reuben S. Jones IV,
Jack A. Leonard,
Julia G. Murray,
Tara H. Locantro,
Aiden C. Place,
Abby R. Lucas,
Avery J. Shim,
Matthew J. Montera,
Amanda C. Southard,
Benjamin L. Mustonen,
Joseph P. Stevenson,
Spencer J. Myers,
Ryan T. Sullivan,
Giovan L. Navarro,
Blake M. Watson,
Madison L. Paul,
Colin T. Winstead,
Grant S. Pearson,
Julia L. Wyatt,
Robert A. Regine,
Jacob E. Ziade,
Garrett Z. Rummel, Emily V. Torres, Keyshawn A. Wells, Sanha Yu.
Congratulations. Great job. Great job. Proud of you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the singing of the Alma Mater, written by Cadet Paul S. Reinecke, class of 1911. It was first sung for the graduation ceremony in 1912.
Class, attention! Class, cover.
Please remain standing while the oath of office is administered to the class of 2021 by the United States Military Academy Commandant of Cadets, Brigadier General Curtis A. Buzzard.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your full name. Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States in the grade of second lieutenant, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. And lower your right hand.
Please remain standing and join in singing the official Army song, "The Army Goes Rolling Along." Please remain standing for the benediction by Chaplain Good.
To the new lieutenants of the class of 2021, please, if you will, receive this blessing. Thank you, Lord. It's done. Dear God, may you give each in this class dreams big enough that only a lifetime of service and adventure will be adequate to see them all come true. May you give them courage enough to stand against half-truths, and may they be unyielding toward any easy wrong, and yet still possess the strength that easily bends down to help those in need. And may you give them joy that lasts far beyond just tossing their hat in the air and driving away today. May it be a happiness that is not just based on what they leave behind, but may it be a contentment that carries them forward in life. Lord, hear my prayer today and give the class of 2021 goals so great, courage so strong, and joy so real that they cannot help but know that they are blessed. And in that blessing, O Lord, may they give you thanks. Amen. Amen.
Dais, cover.
Commandant, take charge of the class of 2021.
First captain, take charge of your class.
Class, cover. Class of 2021, dismiss.